It is just telling the followers that we're live. So hopefully people will come in. We don't usually do lives this late, but we'll see how this goes. Hello everyone coming in. Hello. Welcome. Hi. As you can see from the title, this is Ask a Vegan. So if you have any questions for a vegan, what you need to do, preferably, so I can see it, is there is a little comment box with a little question mark. So if you put in there a question that you have, especially if you're not vegan. Hello. Hello. I do not personally. Yeah, so with tattoos, all you have to do really is ask the tattooer if they're vegan ink, what lubricant they use, things like that, and you'll be fine. The pets question is a big one. Like, fundamentally, I think the consensus is that as long as you're adopting, your animals and making sure that you're not feeding them other animals, that's the general consensus. Yeah, I wouldn't know what to advise there. I am not vegan. I love milk. What to do? Well, it's just, I'm assuming you mean dairy milk, right? So if you're consuming dairy, you're consuming secretions that have come from an animal who's been exploited. And you've got to ask, okay, where is this milk coming from? And this milk is coming from an animal who was meant to feed that to their baby. So their baby was meant to be drinking that milk. And they're not. Like, where are the babies going? Well, typically, if they're male, they are of no use to the dairy industry, so they end up being killed. If they're female, then they will go on to be like breeders themselves, so they'll be artificially inseminated, and that is not what you want. If you are somebody who cares about animals, or even if you don't care about animals, you are somebody who doesn't want others to suffer, you don't want others to be exploited, then that is not what you do. Sorry, got loads of questions coming through. How long have you been vegan? I'm celebrating 4 years in March. Love it. Hell yeah, like, well done, like 4 years. That is quite a long time. It's like, I've been vegan for 10 years in June. 10 years in June, yeah. Not dead yet. Interesting, isn't it? It gives lots of information about the animals. That's what we're hoping to do. We're hoping that with these lives, like, people come in, especially like non-vegans, if they have any questions, like, a lot of questions seem to be about dairy, which is really interesting. I eat eggs as a vegetarian, but I get the eggs from a local farmer whose chickens run free. Is that okay? No, so when we're talking about eggs, these animals have been selectively bred to overproduce eggs. Naturally, they would be producing about 13 a year maximum, but they're producing over 300. So they are leaching themselves of nutrients because of the way they've been selectively bred. And we are seeing them, like, as Kenny put it in the last live stream, we are seeing them as commodities. We are seeing them as things we can take from, as resources, which they are not. And do you remember when we say things like, it's local? It's really bizarre to pose that, because it doesn't matter how local something is to you. Imagine being like, oh, a murder happened, but it happened locally. So the locality of a situation would make no difference, if that makes any sense whatsoever, right? Is it true that the amount of meat production in the world has decreased? I'm not sure about that. I've heard the inverse, which I'm not surprised by because of the population increase. I would be kind of surprised if it had gone down really at this point. I won't be shocked if in 20 years time it does decrease, though, I must say. Hello everyone coming in. If you have a question, then please just put it in the comment box with the question mark. Let's see. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for supporting Vegan FTA. We're just trying to raise awareness about animal exploitation and killing. And we hope that, if you have a question, especially if you're not vegan, that you will, consider the things that are being said and, make that change. Like, go vegan today. There's a lot of resources available. We have resources linked to, in our bio and everything, and you can check them out. And as well as that, if you are vegan, then please do get active for the animals, because they need us speaking up for them, because nobody's listening to the screams that they are bellowing out. People are asking questions, but it's the same sort of formation. There's questions about religion and everything, but no religious scripture says that you have to consume the flesh and secretions of animals, that you have to. And we don't want to be using religion as a justification to exploit others. I'm a vegetarian from the last 25 years. What's stopping you from going vegan, can I ask? If you want to put your explanation as to why you're not vegan, then that would be cool. Put it in the comment box again. Do you only eat organic food? No, organic is different to vegan and non-vegan. But people, a lot of the time, they think that if something is organic, then suddenly it's ethical, but it has no bearing on the treatment of the animals. In fact, in some cases, it could be worse. So yeah, if people haven't seen, there's this documentary out called Pignorant, and that is focusing on the mistreatment of pigs, the exploitation and killing of pigs. Definitely watch that. It's on Amazon Prime. If you want to see what happens even in the best kind of case scenario, this farm that they go to is actually a farm that's local to myself. And it's been voted I think the farmer was voted the farmer of the year. And it looks so, there's so much space, and it's wondrous. It's a heaven for animals, but these animals are still being mistreated. They're still being seen as commodities, because that's what they're viewed as. And yeah, fundamentally, they go to be gassed. Does anyone know about the gassing of pigs? There are people putting meat emojis and everything, but have you seen what happens to animals in order for them to be meals? How can I become a vegan activist? So what you want to do is you want to look up various organizations, and this is a good thing, following Vegan FTA, we highlight some activism that happens. If you want to go to local events around you and see and meet people, you can go to potlucks. If you look up vegan in your area, you'll probably find people who will want to get you involved. There's loads of different organizations. Vegan FTA pairs up with the Save movement quite a bit. But just have a little browse of our what's the word I'm looking for? our bio and everything like that, and you'll see people that we highlight, organizations, and you can get involved that way. They'll be happy to tell you, because I don't know where you live. It's quite difficult for me to say, this is where you can go, because there actually might be some really cool people in your area who are desperate for people like yourself. So that would be really good. Gassing, yeah. The pigs, if you don't know, they are sent to gas chambers. This is supposed to stun them before they're killed, but it kills some of them very slowly. I couldn't imagine being gassed to death. Would be a really horrific experience. And this is deemed something that's such a psychological horror for these animals, yet it still happens, and it's considered humane. And charities that are supposed to be for the prevention of cruelty to animals, such as the RSPCA, they sign off on this being acceptable. So yeah, let's see. I'm 16 and want to switch to vegan, but what can I do? I don't have much freedom. That's a really difficult one when you are not in charge of, you don't have autonomy over your food, over your purchases and everything. But I would say, like, if you can do what you can to express how important it is to you that you don't want to engage in this, you know, have these conversations if it's safe to do so, then you never know, they might actually be on board. So that is definitely something, if you've like spoken about it before and it's gone nowhere, then I would keep trying, just so they know how important it is. I think there's a distinction between bad action and bad person, but that's going into like philosophical territory. I think it is the case that like good people do indeed do bad things, and it's more complicated than a black and white kind of thing. But, you know, it's kind of up to you what you're comfortable with when it comes to the people that you associate with. Like, does that cause you too much emotional distress to put yourself in a position where you are surrounded by people who do something that you think is so horrendous? That is fully up to your jurisdiction. If you have any questions, then please leave them in the comment section with the question mark. I'll try and tend to them. They're getting quite a few. Anyone sending a request to come in, unfortunately, I don't think we'll be taking those today. Let me just see. Yeah, I won't be taking those today. If you want to get involved, if you really want to have a conversation with Vegan FTA, it might be considered. We are going to be doing live streams over on YouTube. So if you want to get involved in those in the future, that would be really cool. It would be cool to have people on who really want to have genuine conversations about animal agriculture, about animals, about veganism, about animal rights, stuff like that. What are available careers in activism that don't require a specific skill or law degree? Well, there's a lot of the time there are animal rights organisations looking for people to do certain things, but it is quite few and far between. It's quite difficult to get hold of. But I don't, if you want to make it something that you can turn into a job, then I would advise becoming active and, you know, filming yourself, like doing like advocacy and getting people to support you that way. It's a very long road to do it that way. But if you want to turn your passion into something that you can turn into your job, and you could say, look, I would rather do this thing, I care about this too much to be doing anything else, then I would go down that route. I would try and volunteer with groups. You know, Vegan FTA have had comment volunteers recently. So I would reach out and ask people. Thank you people for following Vegan FTA. Really appreciate it. Appreciate the support. A really good thing to do if you want to help animals is to share out the reels and everything that are made, just informing people of what happens, because a lot of the time people don't know. You know, a lot of people are ignorant of what happens. If you're like, hey, do you know that day-old chicks are put in a macerator, which is essentially a blender? Hey, did you know that animals are gassed? Do you know that some of them are boiled alive? Like, they don't know these things. Sorry, I'm trying to see the questions. The layout is very bizarre. How do you get non-vegans off your chest about being vegan? I find the social component to be the hardest part. Yeah, the social component can be quite difficult. It can be something that is hard to contend with. And I think there's many avenues to this, just knowing that you can't, you know, control what people are going to say and trying to make peace with that. And I mean, it depends the dynamic. Are these people your friends? Then they should leave you alone. Like, if you've put it out there, you've established, okay, it really upsets me when you like go off on this. Like, why are you doing this? Like, please, if you're my friend, don't be bringing up this thing that upsets me. And they carry on, then they shouldn't really like they're not really your friend, are they? But if it's kind of like co-workers, stuff like that, then it can be quite difficult. I think just stay as strong as possible, knowing that you are doing something that's fundamentally the right thing. You know, if they want to get into a discussion with you about the ethics of the matter, like how well are they actually going to fare, you know, you've just got to stick to your guns. Like, you know why you're doing this. You can you make good arguments for why one ought to be vegan. So, you know, just let it slide. Do you know what I mean? Just that's what I've got to the point where I'm just like, right, just let it go. This is not worth my energy. You know, you've got to pick your battles. What about breastfeeding? Can you please explain how different milk is milk, right? Yeah, so when a human's breastfeeding and they're giving their baby milk, like, there's consent happening. Like, imagine if we just, like, went up to someone, was like, oh, I'm just going to take your milk. I'm just going to take your milk from your breast. That would be really creepy, right? Without consent. So the consent is the difference. So you're saying, okay, like, because if you could speak to animals and they had capacity and they were like, please, can you just take some milk from my udder because it's hurting me or some reason, then you could say, okay, I'm doing something that's helpful for them, like you would be doing something in their best interest. But we can't do that. It's not something that's a possibility for us right now. So the consent is not there. We look at animals and understand that we can't garner consent from them to do certain things, like, or to do anything. So we have to work in their best interest. Is it in their best interest to breed them into existence, selectively at that, so that they overproduce milk, take their babies away from them and milk them so that we can have their milk? No, it definitely isn't something that's in their best interest. So that's what I would say. Let's see if we've got any more questions. How do you create vegan dishes 3 times meals a day? It's just the same as it would be for creating non-vegan meals. It's the same thing. Like, anything that you eat, we can eat vegan, essentially. So what do you have on a day-to-day basis? Just make that but vegan. A lot of people like to bulk cook, so it makes it easier to do that every single day. I know that I'm someone who finds it quite difficult to just, like, constantly be cooking. So I will bulk cook so that I don't have to worry about it. But stir fries, you know, your English breakfasts, your potato dishes, like, just make them vegan, and you can do that 3 times a day just the way you would if you weren't vegan. It's the same sort of situation. Let's have a look. Sorry, I'm trying to get through these questions. What do you do if you're allergic to tofu and lentils? Are they good substitutes for all of that? Yeah, I know quite a few vegans who are allergic to everything, which is, like, a really disadvantaged position to be in. Like, to be allergic to any food sucks. But, like, you would just have to, like, I don't know off the top of my head, like, but there's going to be, like, loads of things like seitan, beans, nuts, seeds, like, all these things that are substitutes. Like, there are specific brands as well that avoid things like soy, and I don't really, like, cook with lentils very much, so lentils is easily avoidable. But, you know, if you are someone who's mindful that you are indeed allergic to something, then you'll probably find it pretty easy quite quickly to find out what you can and can't eat for your own safety. Let's see. Hi, I've been pescatarian since January 1st and I'm looking to switch to a vegan at some point. Protein is going to be the least of your worries. Protein, like, you can get really high protein noodles, you get high protein like muesli. Like, I drink, like, protein shakes and everything like that. I have protein powder because I have an interest in myself in like bodybuilding. It's something that I want to see if I can do that, become swole. It's not something that you worry about as a vegan. There are vegan bodybuilders who have no problem at all. If you are concerned about protein and you're someone who wants to get more protein, then, you know, get yourself a vegan protein powder or get yourself high vegan protein snacks, which you can get. Oh yeah, chickpeas is a good one. Chickpeas. Love me some chickpeas. What would omnivorous people eat if they refused to eat only fruits and veggies, plants, grains, soy, tofu, beans, nuts, seeds, and plant-based meat, fish, eggs, and dairy products? Well, they wouldn't be... There's more things available that are vegan than are not. Like, we only, like, eat a select few animals, typically, and a few of their secretions. Like, you're limiting yourself lest we have a plethora of these plants that to consume. I don't know why someone would refuse to eat them. And people don't typically refuse to eat them until a vegan comes along. Then suddenly these things are a problem, which I don't really understand. Let's see. What's your most hated anti-vegan argument remark? This is a tough one. It's probably the crop deaths one, because you get it so often. People like to say, oh, what about the animals who were killed for your tofu and stuff like that? And it's just like, people seem to forget that the animals, like, also eat. They eat first. So these animals are being fed, you know, soya, all these other grains, all these other things that people have a concern with. So it's like, well, why not cut out the middleman in that respect and not consume that? Like, that is the first issue. Never mind that what is the argument that they're even, like, it's entailed in the first place. There's just so much wrong with it that's probably my least favorite, because I'm like, okay, where do I actually begin? Yeah, I don't really, like, at this point, I've had the arguments posed so many times, and we see them on the, you know, the vegan FTA, you know, comment section over and over again. I think one that's really annoying is like, oh, I don't care. Because a lot of you can't really read someone's mind. You don't know if it's actually the case that they care or not. But like, if they don't care, it's kind of, I find it weird. It's like, why are you commenting then? Like, if I don't care about something, like, I don't give it any energy. Do you know what I mean? So it seems a bit dishonest from the offset. But you not caring is not an argument. It's not a justification to do things to other individuals. Do you know what I mean? Hello to everybody joining. How are you? What made you go vegan? How long have you been vegan? I've been vegan for 10 years. And what made me go vegan was making a music video for a punk band, and I wondered what it was about, like what the song was about, and it was about factory farming. So I looked up factory farming, and I realised there and then what goes on, and it was just a light bulb moment in my head of, oh, all these thoughts I've had about like animal agriculture and horrible things happening to animals. I thought this happened somewhere else and it wasn't happening here. Like, why would it be happening in a nation of animal lovers? Like, you know, completely blissfully unaware of all the happenings in like the UK or like, you know, other places. It just happens everywhere, doesn't it? And yeah, that led me to realize, oh, these guys, they're talking about factory farming, but they pay for it. Like, none of these people are vegetarian. And I realized that the thing that I'd looked up for factory farming was the dairy industry. So I was like, oh, so I would have to be vegan to avoid this. So that's when I went vegan. Is it okay to ride horses if you use a vegan leather saddle? Yeah, no, horse riding is not vegan. There are a lot of people who claim to be vegan and then they do ride horses, which is very confusing. You can have a symbiotic and positive relationship with an animal, but don't see why you need to be on their backs riding them. If you have any more questions, we'll look up a few more questions if you put them in the chat with the comment box. And thank you to everybody who's following Vegan FTA. Please make sure that you are indeed following and you keep up to date with all of the reels and the posts. It's really appreciated. You know, share them out, because your shares help more people see. Is it true vegans need more carbs? I can't give answers about nutrition, but from my understanding, the answer is no. Opinion to vegetarians. So like opinions on vegetarians, like obviously, yeah, individuals who consume still eggs, milk, they may do other things where they are with animal testing. There seems to be no kind of like rule against paying for things that are animal tested. So for the same reason you'd go vegetarian, it would compel you, it logically follows to go vegan. You know, animals are still going to be exploited, they're still going to be commodified, and they're still going to be killed under that kind of philosophy. So it doesn't really, personally to me, make very much sense to be doing that. I want to say thank you so much to everybody who's joined, anybody who's like left a question. Can you just quickly put a 1 in the chat if you are not vegan, just so we can see like how many of you aren't vegan who are watching, and put a 2 if you're curious about going vegan. That would be really interesting to see. Like it'd be nice if non-vegans are asking questions, because then hopefully can bring you closer to like understanding like what animal rights is, what veganism is. And you're not, but you want to be. That is cool. That is cool that you want to be, and hopefully you can use the resources provided. Like in our bios, a lot of the time we link things that show you like for free help going vegan. It is available. You just don't know where to begin. Okay, then just have a little look at our bio, or go to our bio, and you will see a section that says something like for free help going vegan. And then you will be able to get some help for free. The animals need you going vegan. So if you can do that, that would be fantastic. Okay. Thank you so much for joining this live stream. I hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure that you're following Vegan FTA. 9 years vegan. Oh yeah. Keep it going. It's really good to see people in here who've been vegan for a long period of time. And we'll see you in the next one. We're going to be doing these live streams quite frequently. So if you want to hang about, if you have questions, just leave them in the next stream. And there'll be a stream happening tomorrow. And that's a cool one. And that will have Kenny. So if you love Kenny, which we do love Kenny, then check that one out. Okay, thank you so much. See ya.